Do you know what makes me mad? Political pundits that won't report on how elements of the GOP are in civil war mode that is literally tearing it apart from within. The Republican divide no one is talking about. Let's go.
Joining me now is Councilman Ronald C. Rice of Newark's West Ward.
Joining me right now is Newark Councilman Ronald C. Rice.
Joining me again, our Newark Councilman Ronald C. Rice.
Joining me now from D.C. is the Senior Director of Government Relations for the National Alliance, is Ron Rice.
What up, sports fans? Curious Formula here with a new video. Okay, we're back. But before we get started, I need you to bless your brother and subscribe to my YouTube channel below. Like and comment and do the same for my other social media platforms. So, what is this Republican divide and how is it tearing the GOP apart from within? It's simple. The GOP is having an internal civil war between the MAGA wing aligned with President Donald Trump and mainstream Republicans that just want to go back to the days when the biggest icon of the party was Ronald Reagan. For you folks under 40, that's the guy with the cowboy hat, or the guy they renamed the DC airport after, but I digress.
You asked for me if you would... I am paying for this microphone, Mr.
For 36 years, the Republican Party was built on the foundation of Ronald Reagan and his conservative philosophy of lower taxes for the wealthy, not just to benefit wealthy folks like the left would have you to believe, but in an honest attempt in the laissez-faire philosophy of government to incentivize big business to take the tax cuts and improve technology, make improvements, and hire more Americans to work. It also embraced less regulation to again spur business growth, a strong defense, a commitment to stopping Soviet aggression and ending Russia's superpower status.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
And a pathway for immigrants crossing the southern border. Yes, all of that was the old Republican Party. It focused on less government and more individual liberty and autonomy, so-called family values, and requiring work for welfare benefits, getting government out of the way and out of your life, and yes, out of your bedroom. Remember what Reagan said about government.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
Beyond Reagan, it also embraced conservative thought leaders within the Republican Party, like my favorite Republican ever, Jack Kemp, who sought to employ conservative ideas to lift all Americans out of poverty and create generational wealth with enterprise zones to boost small businesses in economically challenged neighborhoods and turning low-income housing into home ownership opportunities for African Americans and Latinos in tough neighborhoods. And while many of us on the left may have disagreed with their policy prescriptions and its results, the homeless population exploded in America in the 80s, and there was record debt and deficits, and big businesses pocketed the tax cuts and concentrated wealth to the 1%, shrinking the middle class across all races and demographics, etc. But at least it was a debatable and coherent worldview. Then Donald Trump happened, ending almost 40 years of thought and turning the Republican Party into his playground. It embraced ideas that were Trump's and Trump's alone. Well, his and the cabal of radical extremists that were once pariahs of the party like Steve Bannon and others. This new MAGA wing embraced conflict, eschewed compromise, and created a populism based less on policies that represented a worldview, but more a home for the disaffected. Those who felt like minorities were taking over, fearful of the rest of the world, restless about new technology and ideas displacing them and what they were comfortable with, scared of the need to get more education, scared of reality TV shows, interracial and gay family commercials, RuPaul's Drag Race, and hip-hop becoming the #1 music genre of the nation, rock and roll dying, etc. It endorsed policies that Reagan would have puked over, playing nice with Putin in Russia, embracing authoritarianism in North Korea and other places, building walls on the southern border, angering our allies worldwide, etc. And it's not like the mainstream Republicans did not try and stop this, but the takeover happened right before their eyes, and they had to join it or be smashed. Because, like Reagan did in 1980, his appeals to white working class Americans, mainly independents, won him the presidency against Hillary Clinton. See, people see the electoral blowout that Reagan inflicted on Carter and think he won in a landslide, but Reagan barely beat Carter in many states, just like Trump barely beat Clinton in a handful of states. But in both elections, it was enough to win. Many mainstream Republicans, many in leadership positions on committees and subcommittees, left Congress in 2018 because of it. Even more in 2020, and MAGA sympathizers took their seats and created bedlam in Congress, inaction and internal strife that we see today with the inability of Republicans to elect and keep a speaker, policy fights, and heroic Republicans like Senators McCain and Romney, Representatives Cheney and Kinzinger, and most recently Senator Langford, trying to stand in the gap to return federal lawmaking to the consensus building that is the hallmark of the People's House and our deliberative Senate body. But the Republican Party really has no one to blame for its current state, as the seeds of the Civil War were planted in 1992, watered in 2008 to 2012, and came into full bloom in 2016 with Donald Trump. Remember this Pat Buchanan's speech at the RNC in 1992 after his challenge to George Bush?
It's about more than who gets what. It is about who we are. It is about what we believe and what we stand for as Americans. There is a religious war going on in this country. It is a cultural war as critical to the kind of nation we shall be as the Cold War itself, for this war is for the soul of America.
Remember the rise of the Tea Party after the secret Republican meeting on Capitol Hill the night before President Obama's inauguration? That they would stop everything he did, that they could not let anything he proposed get through? Yeah. And now, the fruit of the poisonous tree is bare, and the Republican Party is the party of Trump, led more by a cult of personality than a set of policies and principles. And as it appears we are headed to a second Biden-Trump showdown, mainstream Republicans appear to be reconciled to the fact that they will have to play the sidelines yet again until Trump loses in November, and then try to rebuild the party in their image, as none of the other Trump acolytes like Senators Cruz or Cotton and others in the House MAGA caucus seem to possess Trump's power or his appeal or likability to that part of the Republican fringe like he does. Remember, most of them were converts, and they are seen as suspicious at best to that fold. It would be hard to go back to the old Republican paradigm, but I think some new form of this angst populism may arise that will harken back to the tried and true republicanism, but also will seek to capitalize on the social, economic, racial, alternative facts, fears, and resentments in a more politically correct way, with a younger, more charismatic leader without the personal baggage and crassness of a Trump in the image of a Ben Shapiro type or Candace Owens, embracing the ways of the Turning Point USAers or PragerU. But what do you think? Subscribe, like, and comment below. We're building this as we fly, so if you like this content, spread the word. And as George Clinton from P-Funk says, think, it ain't illegal yet. Stay curious.